Hi, welcome back to my channel. My kids decided right now will be a great time to find the loudest toys we have in the house and start playing with them. So I apologize for that. I don't know about y'all, but I'm kind of getting sick of summer. I'm sick of the heat. I just want it to cool down again. I want to be able to spend a lot of time outside. So even though the South doesn't like to actually turn to fall till about November, we're still getting into the fall season in our house because I love fall. Now my favorite holiday is Christmas, but my favorite season is definitely fall. So I'm gonna start cooking some more fall appropriate dinners, even though it's still like 90 degrees outside. I don't care. A lot of them will probably be crock-pot meals, so if you're interested in crock-pot meal ideas, be sure to subscribe, because over the next few months I'll definitely be putting in a lot of crock-pot meals. Tonight I am making a homemade hearty vegetable soup. I'm actually just doing it in a pot on the stove since I'm home, but this could be a crock-pot meal. You could throw everything in the crock-pot, turn it on low before you run out the door to work, and when you come home it's ready. But since I'm home, I decided I didn't really need to do that, and I'm just cooking it on the stove this evening. So let's get started. Vegetable soup is really nothing but broth and veggies. So I just picked the veggies that I want to go in and the broth that I want to use. So the very first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to put probably about 2 to 3 tablespoons of olive oil. I have this big cast iron pot. I'm going to put it in the bottom and put in some chopped fresh garlic, some chopped celery, some chopped carrots. I would normally use a whole yellow onion, but I didn't have one. This is the rest of the onion that I used a couple nights ago. I just have it in the fridge. So it's about a half an onion. That's what I'm using tonight. So the very first thing I'm doing is heating up some olive oil. Then I'm going to cook down the onions, the carrots, the celery, and some fresh garlic and some salt and pepper.
You won't be we should be closer than friends. If you OPN and take that high road and hop in.
Now put the veggies in the order of how cooked down I want them to be. The onions and garlic and celery first, because I want those really cooked down, followed by the carrots. I just have that on a medium-high heat, and I'm going to stir it pretty frequently and let it cook for about 5 minutes while I chop up everything else. So I'm going to chop the potatoes, the zucchini, and the green beans.
Open up, you OPN.
Now I'm going to add in my zucchini and then my potatoes and let that cook with the rest of the veggies that are already cooking down for about another 3 to 5 minutes. I'm just going to watch, and when it gets to the consistency and the tenderness that I want, then I'll move on. The best thing to me about vegetable soup is that you can literally put in whatever vegetables you like. So I'm doing mostly vegetables that I like, that I picked out at the store. But then I also found some green beans that are kind of like on their last leg. And I didn't want them to go to waste. So I found them in the fridge. So I just washed them really well. And I'm going to add those in too so that they don't go to waste. If you're not big into potatoes, you can leave the potatoes out. I'm going to add in some beef when I'm done, some chopped steak, because I just think it's so delicious in vegetable soup. It makes it really hearty, along with the potatoes. But if you're vegetarian, you can just leave the meat out. Or if you want to do a leaner meat, do ground turkey. I know a lot of people will put ground meat in their vegetable soup. I'm just not big into that. I much prefer the steak. All right, my green beans, all I'm doing is chopping them in half and throwing them in. They just need to be cooked down a little bit. That's why I saved them for last. The last time I made this, my husband said green beans and vegetable soup. And I said, just trust me, try it. And sure enough, he loved it. I don't know, there's something about the green beans that I think is really good. Alright, now all of my veggies except for the tomatoes are in. My potatoes have been in here for about 2 minutes, so I think I'm going to give it 3 more minutes, and then I'm going to add in my broth. My daughter is insisting that I wear an apron. I don't know why. Insisting that I need an apron, even though I told her I really don't need one for this meal. She's insisting, so I'm gonna put on my apron, and then she has a little Spider-Man apron that she wants to wear, so I think she's wanting us to match. Kids are so cute and funny. See, how cute do you look? Oh, I love it. Do I need to tighten this part?
No. Okay.
Do you match Mommy? Add in my broth. I'm going to add in my seasonings. I'm putting just some black pepper, some salt, a little bit of rosemary, some paprika. And like I've said in all my other cooking videos, I don't really measure. I just kind of guesstimate. And since I've cooked for so long now, I kind of know how much to use for the amount of flavor. That was probably about a teaspoon of paprika. And I'm going to put about a half a teaspoon of cayenne. Literally just a little bit to give it a little bit of a kick. And almost like a smokiness in a way. Just a little bit, but not so much that it's spicy. And then I'm going to stir this up. As soon as I get it stirred up really well, I'll add in my broth. Okay, now I'm going to add in my chicken broth. You don't have to use chicken broth. You can really use any kind of broth you want. I just like chicken broth because of the flavor that it has.
Hi, Mommy.
I don't need that, baby. Thank you, though. I'm going to stir this around. You could also use stock. A stock tends to be a little thicker, but I find that a broth has a little more flavor. So I tend to go with chicken broth, but you could use stock or broth. I don't think it really matters. It's just personal preference. So my broth is in. Gonna stir it around. I like to move it to my back burner, mainly for safety reasons, because of the kids. I mean, obviously they can just walk up and touch that pot. And this pot that I'm using is cast iron, so it's really hot. So I'm gonna put my fire back there on high. I like to bring it to a boil to get it really hot, and then as soon, like the second it starts boiling, I turn it all the way down to low to where it's just simmering, and I cover it and I just let it simmer for like 30 to 45 minutes. Gets a lot of flavor, gets all your veggies really tender but not falling apart. So I'm just going to keep my eye on that, and as soon as it's boiling, I'm going to turn the heat all the way down to low to where it's just simmering, and then let it simmer for about 30 minutes. Then I'll add in my tomatoes and let it simmer for like 10 more minutes. And right after I add my tomatoes, I'm going to cook my beef so that as soon as my soup is pretty much ready, I can put the beef in, let it simmer for about 5 more minutes, and then make bowls. It just started boiling. I think I'm gonna add in a little more salt and pepper. Milo's just mad because he's in there alone because Quinn came out. All right, giving that good stir. And I'm gonna cover it. Set a timer. Set a timer for 30 minutes. And I'm gonna stir it about every 5 minutes. All right, the soup has about 20 minutes left, so I'm gonna go ahead and chop up these tomatoes and toss them in so that I can start getting ready, working on my beef. So apparently I had a mom brain moment at the store and forgot to buy beef. But it's really okay. We honestly don't need it. We're just going to have it without the beef tonight because there's a ton of veggies. There's some potatoes. We'll probably have some crackers or some bread with it. We're good. Since we don't have any meat, I actually looked in my pantry and I had a can of corn and a can of peas. So I went ahead and added the can of corn and the can of peas to make it a little bit more filling. I prefer fresh vegetables or frozen over canned, taste-wise. But I always keep canned vegetables for situations like this, and we always have canned stuff in the pantry during hurricane season. But anyway, to help kind of get rid of that canned taste, I always drain them and rinse them before I put them in, because I find that makes a big difference. But hopefully with the corn and the peas, it'll be even more filling. They don't really need to cook. I'm just going to get them warmed up, so I'm going to leave the fire on low for another 2 minutes and then shut the fire off. And to all the people who are going to ask me, do your kids actually eat that? The answer is, I don't know. We'll see. But for dinner, we always make sure that there's at least one thing on their plate that they like so that we know that they'll eat something. But what I'm cooking goes on their plate and they either eat it or don't eat it. It's a grilled cheese sandwich. So they're going to have a grilled cheese sandwich and a cup of vegetable soup. And whatever they choose to eat, they will eat. I just put a little bit of butter in the pan and then put 1 slice of organic cheddar cheese on 2 pieces of whole grain bread. And I know they'll eat this. But hopefully they'll eat the vegetable soup too. I always offer it because sometimes kids will surprise you. You can put the same healthy thing on their plate for months and they won't touch it. And then all of a sudden one night they'll pick it up and eat it and enjoy it. So I always offer because you never know. Sometimes kids will surprise you. And my soup is ready. It's been in the pot for a total of about 45 minutes. So those potatoes are getting pretty mushy, but that's okay. It'll still taste good. And it is ready to eat. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please remember to give it a thumbs up. Thanks. Bye, y'all.
Open up, you open, bitch, you won't be, yeah.